It is the end of an era. The Silph Road, which has been serving the Pokemon GO community for over 7 years, is closing down, like they're ceasing operations. This is a huge hit to the Pokemon GO community and Pokemon GO itself. I really do not know where we're going to be going from here, but it's not looking good for the future of this game. I'm going to be talking about all of this in today's video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon GO video. Okay, so you heard it right. The Silph Road, which has been a staple component of the Pokemon GO experience, is going to be ceasing operations. Of course, the Silph Road has been a really big component to the Pokemon GO community. Like, they've been doing a lot of research on a lot of different game mechanics, and they've been a very strong resource for players who are just looking to get more information about this game. Unfortunately, this website is no longer going to be available after a certain period, and I really am pretty devastated by this because the Silph Road has been such an important part of my Pokemon GO experience and for a lot of other players as well. So I really do not know what the game is going to look like without this resource. Like, Pokemon GO really needed the Silph Road. Like, I don't think it's ever going to get replaced. The developers of the Silph Road stated that it had a lot to do with financial stability and of course the declining momentum that the game is experiencing. They were actually being supported directly by Niantic for the last year. Yeah, it's a really sad day, and I really do think the game is going to be completely different from this point forward, and I'm really curious to see how the Pokemon GO community is going to react. I really feel like when it comes to the Silph Road, I just cannot imagine how the game will be without this resource. And it's not just the information resources. Like, the Silph Road was a huge component in building up the current Pokemon GO community. Like, all of the influencers and all of the people, like during meetups, a lot of them were connected through the Silph Road. So yeah, I mean, Pokemon GO is just not in a good place, and I feel like Niantic is mainly the culprit for that. I feel like Niantic is wanting the Silph Road closed down so that they could have their own community tools through Niantic Campfire. Why do I think this? Well, first and foremost, they were supporting the Silph Road for the last year, but I really feel like the only reason why they were doing that is so that they can learn a lot from the Silph Road so that they could do their own version of the Silph Road, which would be Niantic Campfire. So I'm really curious to see what this is going to be, because a lot of players do not necessarily care about Niantic Campfire, unfortunately. Like, I'm actually a big fan of this particular app because I do think there are some really good resources with it, and there are great ways for you to connect with other trainers through this app. But unfortunately, it's not widely supported right now, and it's not widely used right now. So unfortunately, its proper usage is not fully utilized because there's just not a huge influx of players that are going to be using it the way it's intended. So I really feel like if Niantic wants to do their own version of the Silph Road, then they really need to step it up with Niantic Campfire's development. But unfortunately, they haven't really been doing that. And because the Silph Road was around for close to a decade, like, a lot of players were very used to the tools that the Silph Road gave. And I really feel like because of that, anything Niantic produces that is very similar to the Silph Road is just not going to stick. And I think they have failed to realize that. Now, I have to say, this is all my own speculation. Like, I could be completely wrong here. Like, it's possible that Niantic doesn't want to create their own version of the Silph Road, and they just could not afford continuing supporting this website, and I totally understand that. Niantic is kind of in a weird place right now. Like, they've been going in a very weird direction with Pokemon GO. It's been very unfriendly towards the Pokemon GO community, and it seems like they want to go their own way, and they're gaslighting the Pokemon GO community along the way. They've been making very drastic changes to Pokemon GO, most of them being unfavored by the Pokemon GO community, and they're trying to let us believe that it is for the good of the game, which nobody believes is the case because people are very unhappy with a lot of these directions and they do not feel enthusiastic about Pokemon GO. So I really do not know why they are making these sort of decisions. It just really seems like it's because Niantic is completely out of touch with their own player base. Like, people are playing Pokemon GO a certain way, but because that's not how Niantic plays their game, they completely go in the opposite direction, trying to force us to play the way they want us to play. And that is a horrible philosophy to have when you're a game developer. Ask anybody. Like, World of Warcraft's development history is pretty similar. Like, that went in a direction that was completely against what communities wanted, and they faced the consequences of that. Like, the numbers declined to a drastic point, and eventually they caved and started making design decisions that catered to the community. And yeah, the community improved because of that. So I really wonder if this is going to be the case with Niantic, but I highly doubt it at this point, because Niantic has definitely shown that they are incompetent and they are very much out of touch. I have a lot of concerns with Pokemon GO right now, and the closure of the Silph Road is a big part of that. This is kind of like the beginning of the end for Pokemon GO, and I think we all need to face the music. I'm not sure if this means like we all have to start moving on to other things, but when it comes to Pokemon GO, it definitely feels like this game is on the decline. Like, people are not as excited about in-person events like they used to be. There's just a lot of bad blood between the developers and the Pokemon GO community, and just in general, the game has been very stagnant. Like, there hasn't been anything exciting being added to the game. I mean, recently, a bunch of my fellow content creators were flown out to Seattle in order to test out some upcoming new features, and because of NDA, they can't obviously share anything regarding it, but you know, I feel like Niantic does have something cooking in the kitchen, and they better come up with it soon, because honestly, the game is in such a stark decline right now, and if they want to save this game, if they want to keep this game going for another 10 years, like, they better come up with something exciting, because there's a lot of ground they need to make up for all the decisions that they were making earlier on this year. I mean, I said this on social media, but it is without question that this is the absolute worst year so far for Niantic and Pokemon GO. The whole tour event in Las Vegas was a major bust. Like, it was just a buggy mess. There was a lot of cool things on paper that just wasn't properly executed, and just in general, it created a huge negative sentiment around Pokemon GO. And then of course later on, we had the Heroes Niantic movement, which was motivated by some changes to remote raid passes. And you know, just in general, Niantic has been going in a direction of just greedy monetization, and a lot of players are very unhappy about that. For the fact that Pokemon Go Fest is going to cost you close to $70 for the full experience, like, that is absolutely ridiculous, considering that in the past, $15 got you a whole weekend worth of gameplay, but that's no longer the case anymore. So yeah, there's just a lot of negative things going on with Pokemon Go, that this is definitely going to be considered the absolute worst year that this game has ever seen. Which is a real shame, because at the beginning of this year, it was actually looking really promising. Like, they were implementing some really cool in-game events with some really special unique spawns, and they had some pretty good community days and community day classics at the beginning of this year. But it just completely went downhill out of nowhere, and it's just a shame to see. So yeah, these are just my thoughts regarding everything that's been going on with Pokemon Go as of late. Again, it's a real shame that the Silph Road is closing, considering how impactful it was to the Pokemon Go community and Pokemon Go. But it was inevitable, and I just wanted to thank all the people at the Silph Road. I was fortunate enough to meet some of them in previous Go Fests, and they're a bunch of really dedicated, really passionate people, and I just wish them the best. Like, whatever they end up doing after the Silph Road, I really hope it's a huge success, and it gets the support that they deserve. So yeah, the good news is that the Silph Road subreddit is going to continue, and I know a lot of people share a lot of information on that subreddit, but yeah, the website itself is closing down, so unfortunately, you won't be able to find nests in your area. You won't be able to look up a whole bunch of information regarding shiny rates and catch rates and all of that sort of thing. It's just a very dark time for Pokemon Go, and I really do not know where the game's going to be in the next year or so, but we'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about. Are you really upset about the Silph Road closing? Did you not even know about the Silph Road and this just doesn't even matter to you? Like, I would love to know all those thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's have a great discussion regarding it. And yeah, if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.